subscribe for updates. Now, this is day 10 of my Magnum Opus. We're in the second turn of the wheel of alchemy. If you watched the previous videos in this series, it is a series of alchemy videos. I discussed this red crystal-like matter that formed on the side of the glass as a clear salt, which seemed to turn red in the heat, and compared it with alchemical terms such as the blood of the green lion, the rosy-colored blood of the green lion, the water of the bleeding rose tree from the alchemical writings of Nicholas Flamel, because they remind me of this. Now, here's the thing. This is an interesting thing to me because at one point I had accidentally turned the heat up without realizing it. I didn't know I did it. I don't even understand how it happened, but at one of the times when I was turning the heat on, the distillation on, for the hot plate, I normally set it at 165 degrees Celsius. That was the temperature I carefully came to for this particular experiment. By carefully raising the heat by degrees, right? But somehow I managed to bump it up to 180 without realizing it, 180 degrees Celsius. And so then the clear salt, volatile salt, it would seem, in my opinion, seemed to be almost trying to sublime. Anyway, it adhered to the side of the glass. Maybe it wasn't. Anyway, the clear salt adhered to the side of the glass and turned red. Now, in my experience, in my years of alchemy experiments, when I distilled the Green Lion in previous years and got the clear distillate, which was mentioned in previous videos and books from years ago, my experience is that is the material that formed on the side of the glass, that clear distillate, that it can become a solid material and go through color changes. And in the old alchemical writings of the sages, it says, sometimes it says we must see the white before the red. Be careful that we don't see the red before the white or all is lost. Now, this material is not yet at the white stage. However, we see red over there. So what that is telling me is that perhaps due to the heat was accidentally raised a bit too high, higher than what I wanted it, that perhaps that caused some of the blood of the green lion to coagulate and crystallize on the side of the glass, which means I've lost some of my blood of the green lion, which I could have later distilled. Now, in this process, each process of alchemy, they can have subtle differences. So, I have different processes I've developed now where I can distill the blood of the green lion or not. But in this particular case, it seems that I lost a little bit of the blood of the green lion, and it just reminds me of the old writings of the sages. Be careful that we do not see the red before the white. And so in my mind, I'm thinking what they meant was because we lose some of the blood of the green lion, the rosy colored blood of the green lion. And in some of the other alchemical writings from way back, it mentioned, of the green lion, be careful that you do not burn his flowers nor destroy his greenness. So that's telling me that what they were talking about is because when we raise the heat on the green lion, the blood of the green lion distills forth. And if it's not intentionally done and collected in a receptacle with a stopper, then my understanding of the writings of the sages is that that material is lost. Doesn't mean this experiment has gone bad. It just means that, in my opinion, it looks like I've lost a little bit of the rosy-colored blood of the green lion, which is actually a good thing because it's a learning experience. A learning experience. And to me, that is quite valuable. None of this stuff in alchemy was easy to figure out. It took years of study, experimentation, contemplation, trial and error to learn these things. But when I learned something from this, it's like a little gem of knowledge. It's like a little gift, something that I had to work for and earned. But I figured something out and learned something. And with all the stumbling blocks and trying to decipher the great work and figuring it out, it's been a process. Alchemy, that's why they say lost in the labyrinth. People get confused and frustrated, becoming lost in the labyrinth of alchemy. And I've just learned great patience from it. It's like it says in the writings of Theophrastus Paracelsus, where he says, "You will transmute nothing until you first have transmuted yourself." In my opinion, I think he's saying you got to learn great patience. We're not really born with patience. We want stuff now, but instant gratification is not always the answer, especially in something as complex as alchemy. Simplicity, as simple as it is, yet so complex. So that's interesting. My learning parameters here. It seems to me one thing I've learned in this experiment is that for this particular experiment, 165 degrees seems to be my perfect and maximum temperature. If I was going to modify it, I would try to reduce a few degrees, just a few, and see the bare minimum of heat that I could have and still perform the distillation. Really, the key, in my opinion, is to lower the heat while still obtaining the distillation, and is the best because then the burning is avoided. So this has been a great experiment, in my opinion, and quite a learning experience for me. We can take a look at the receptacle and see what's going on over there. Everything's good and well in the receptacle. Just that little bit of coagulated material, I didn't want any of that. I wanted everything to remain in solution. Nonetheless, it's a small loss, but a great learning experience studying that material, because in previous times I've tried many different ways of coagulating the blood of the green lion after distilling it and collecting it, and it's been I've seen it become a solid. I've seen it change colors. I've seen it reflect a myriad of colors. I've seen it turn red like a salt or a crystal. I've used it to try to dissolve gold, and it seemed to be dissolving the gold and coagulating into a red crystal. But here, it's doing it without well, I can't say without, because in that experiment that I'm talking about, I used a small, tiny little placer gold nugget, which is a piece of gold somebody dredged or panned out of a river. Hi, Rebel. It's nice to hear from you. But check this out. If you look at the picture on the cover of my book, Alchemy Survival Guide, and it shows that red stone crystal, that I made from the blood of the green lion. I distilled it, and then I put it in a flask with a piece of gold and sand bath, and it was crystallizing and changing colors, and it seemed to be dissolving the gold. This experiment is using iron pyrite, but check this out. One thing I learned in research is that iron pyrite is actually supposed to be the richest ore of gold. When people take ore out of a gold mine and it's just rocks and they crush it up to get the gold, and it's got a very small amount of gold and a lot of work, but iron pyrite itself is supposed to be a much higher grade of gold ore. It's supposed to have a much higher gold content. It actually has gold in it. And some people on YouTube have actually showed their methods of how to refine it to get the gold out of it. But in alchemy, we're doing something different. We're doing more than that. We're purifying, we're separating, purifying, exalting, multiplying, dissolving and coagulating and multiplying. So that means that this experiment actually does have some gold in it. Does that affect the the blood of the green lion, causing it to crystallize and turn red? Or can other elements do it? You know, it's interesting because if you look at cinnabar, high grade specimens of cinnabar are pretty red crystals, very pretty, and they're coagulated, which reminds me of the blood of the green lion, the clear distillate liquid that goes through phase transition in heat and becomes a solid material like a crystal that goes through color changes. There's my new crystal ball. I was thinking I wanted one, manifesting it, and then forgot about it. And now I have a crystal ball. I like it. I think it goes well with my alchemy laboratory. This thing right here is going to be a sand bath. It's an iron bowl with an iron trivet. I'm going to put sand in it, and it's going to be a sand bath. So that basically covers everything I think in this video that I wanted to cover. This is the second turn of the alchemical wheel. I believe I said it was day 10 in this Magnum Opus. So this is Alchemy of Steven School. Subscribe for updates. Not for consumption. Do not try this at home. Thank you for watching. This video is part of a series. And have a nice day.